The Champions League is back and is back for cooking with a lot of ingredients we have in our Champions League teams. Jude Bellingham was the star sensation of last season along with Vinicius Junior. Now we have Mbappe joining their mix in Real Madrid. Harry Kane still doing his thing, scored a hat-trick recently in the Bundesliga. And so many players. Gnabry is in form. He's starting regularly for Bayern Munich. We have a lot of players. Erling Haaland, for crying out loud, has 10 goals in 4 games. Goycores is also there, about 9 goals in all competitions. So there's so many players we have to look forward to. In fact, Mo Salah, I can't stop at just these 5, but I know there are more we should look out for. So welcome to the Champions League. Champions League is back. Champions League Fantasy exactly is back. And your host, the FPL Manual, is back this morning to just say welcome. So what am I doing this morning? I'm just quickly going to rush because I have to be somewhere around 8 and I have like 10 minutes. So I'll just try and make this one, I'll not promise though, but I'll make it fast as possible to make sure we go about our days. And yeah, welcome to the FPL Manual podcast show with your host, the FPL Manual. My name is Adiwale Akin Additional. That's my full name. And what do I do here? I basically talk about Champions League Fantasy. And we have the Champions League just in a few hours. Today is still Sunday, as I'm recording, Sunday the 15th of September. So this will be out on 16th tomorrow. And just to prepare us ahead of the Champions League Fantasy football game. So in case you didn't know, we have 8 league games. I mean, a lot of us know by now, but in case you didn't know, we have 8 league games. And Matchday 1 is going to be spread across 3 game weeks, or 3 days rather. So I apologize, 3 days. So instead of it to be Tuesday, Wednesday, we also have Thursdays. So we have 6 games on Tuesday, and that's 6 games on is it 6? Yeah. But 12 games on Tuesday, about 6 teams playing each other, 12 teams on Wednesday, and 12 games on Thursday. So that's like 36 games. They're about 36 teams play facing each other. So we have 12 games. So what do we do ahead of match day 1? That's a real question. Who are top captaincy picks, chief strategy, differentials, etc. Let's get into this. So I'm just going to quickly run through my system and open my Chrome and just show you guys what my team looks like at the moment and how I plan on going forward with our Champions League teams. So first of all, where do I start from? Let's start from the results from last weekend, because I always forget that I need to start with teams doing well across European leagues. And I've recorded something, or I've taken even notes of the teams that have done well ahead of the weekend. So I'll quickly just open that window up. It's not opening up right now. Give me a minute. UCL Fantasy. Yes. Okay. So ahead of match day 1, there's some sweet results I'd like to review to us. And here are the results on my screen in case you are seeing me on YouTube. Dortmund won, Heidenheim 4-2. Goal scorers there were Emre Can on pens, Adeyemi scored a brisk, and Malin also scored. PSV won NEC 2-0. Luke De Jong was on pens and scored, and Gostil also scored. Sporting won away from home to Aroca. Trincao, Goycores, Goncalves were on the score sheet. Man City won Brentford 2-1. Simple as short, Erling Haaland was involved in all the goals, so in the goals for Man City, so he scored a brace there, scoring, almost making it 3 back-to-back hat-tricks. Aston Villa won Everton. They had to fight from 2-0 down to win Everton. Everton very funny, conceding goals recently. Watkins got a brace and Durant came from the bench and scored a screamer. Real Sociedad lost to Real Madrid 2-0, where Vinicius Junior and Mbappe both scored pens for Real Madrid. AC Milan won Venezia 4-0. Theo Hernandez, Fofana, Tammy Abraham, and Pulisic were on the score sheet. Pulisic and Tammy Abraham scored pens for Milan. so we don't know who's on pen duty for per se, but I think we'll figure it out later. Bayern won Kai. I think I pronounced it wrongly, but that is a team there. They won them 6-1. Harry Kane scored the hat-trick. Olise came from the bench and scored. Musalia also scored the first goal in the game. Hoffenheim lost to Leverkusen 4-1. Boniface scored the brace. Tira and Ritz scored the pen. PSG had to fight from being behind Brest. However, Dembele got the brace. Fabian Ruiz also got on the score sheet. I think Hakimi had an assist among one of these goals for the Dembele brace. Then Del Castillo, who have been pushing up for a while, some weeks ago, also scored the penalty for Brest, which gave them the lead initially. Club Brugge won in their league 3-0. Hans Van Eycken got a brace and Taubi got on the score sheet. Liverpool were the surprise team to lose here, getting a 1-0 defeat away from home. I can't remember when last I saw Liverpool lose at home. So Liverpool lost at home to Nottingham Forest, where Callum Hudson scored the winner. Juventus got a 0-0 draw. Gatti, 4 games in a row, 4 clean sheets. Captain of the team, one to watch. And Mönchengladbach lost to Stuttgart. Stuttgart is the Champions League. Undav and some other players scored. And Lille lost 1-0 to Saint Etienne. So those are one of the major results in the Champions League so far. So in case you're not following me on Twitter, first of all, go and follow me. What are you doing? Go and follow me on Twitter, the FPL Manual. All I do is talk about Champions League fantasy majorly, even though there's FPL in between and Euros and AFCON. For now, we're just going to be majorly on Champions League fantasy and some other things you need to know about in the Champions League. So looking at my team, let us talk about draft teams immediately. So initially I posted a serious draft team some weeks ago, and it looked like this. The plan was to fit in Erling Haaland, Mbappe, Mo Salah, and Yamal. So this is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it worked because in Champions League fantasy the prices are fairly priced for most of the assets. The most expensive players are Mbappe, Haaland, and Vinicius, 11 million, then followed by Harry Kane 10.5, then Salah 10 million. So you cannot really equate it to FPL, where Haaland is 50 million. So we're in luck here to get in more players for lesser money, I guess. So this was my serious team. However, I've made a few changes to this team, and I'll get to that later. So anyways, in case you are looking for something like a sample or a template to work with, I think this should be fine for you. And so, but moving on to the crux of today, who are the players we should look out for Matchday 1? What features are the best games for this encounter, and so on and so forth. So let me just quickly use Google because the website is loading. UEFA Champions League. So a lot of sweet games coming up in Matchday 1. Young Boys versus Aston Villa. Young Boys versus Aston Villa and Juventus PSG will start the game. So those are the early kickoff games. We'll see the lineups for those teams and still make some changes. With Durant starts, who knows? It could be what a punt if you are looking forward to having him. Maybe down the line he will get rotated, but he's one to consider. You have some other games that look easy on paper. Real Madrid at home to Stuttgart, Bayern at home to Dinamo Zagreb, Salzburg away to Sparta Praha, PSG at home to Girona, Man City at home to Inter. Man City are on form right now, so I don't think Inter should be a stumbling block, even though Inter are like one of the best teams out there. So some other beautiful games. Leverkusen are going to face Feyenoord away from home. Celtic at home. This is one of the easiest games on paper. Celtic versus Slovia Bratislava. So these are the games that are the best games to target here in quotes. So I might have skipped some, but these are the best games to target on paper. Maybe Barcelona, Monaco as well. So just to not make this too long, because I said I have somewhere I want to be, and I need to not spend too much time here. So if you have not been following me, I have been writing extensively on Champions League for differentials on my Twitter page for cheap strategy. So I'm not going to read everything here. because we have been trying to promote people to come and read our articles. However, what I'll just do is just give you guys a sneak peek concerning tactics or chip strategy going to the new season. Now, I think this is going to be the major point of concern because many managers are not sure what strategy to use for the new season. Previous season you can be very aggressive. You can play your wildcard after match day one, or limitless after match day one, then maybe wildcards immediately or sometime later in the group stages, and vice versa. A lot of people had different strategies they could use concerning the features. However, it'll be different this time. So, but if you want to read more on that, I have a article here written about 4 days ago by myself on Rotoballer, and I told you guys I will be seeing all my work here. I'm still going to write ahead of match day one very soon after this podcast. So anyways, just skipping down to fantasy, the chief strategy, I mentioned here that in order to look at our chips, we need to understand what they are. And this season we have only 2 chips again, with limitless and wildcard. Limitless chip is more of a free chip. You can play it in a single game week or match day and it will return back. But this time the difference between it and a free hit is that you will get extra money, or you don't have a budget to work with. You're literally rich enough to bring in any players you want to have. While wildcard is basically wildcard, you are trying to change your team ahead of the next 3-4 game weeks or for a longer period of time. So as usual, we need to always look for our favorites. Our favorite teams are Barcelona, Real Madrid, Man City, Bayern Munich, so on and so forth. So many of these teams in the top 20 UEFA coefficient rankings are major favorites here. So while the underdogs are, Bratislava, who's making their debut. I need to be closer to my mic. Bratislava, who's making their debut. Girona and Brest. So all these are like underdog teams who we might avoid, but not necessarily if you see some hidden gems there. So what are the strategies to adopt? If you want to read more on that, I'll stop here for people that want to check it out later. But what are the strategies to adopt? I named it 3 different strategies. The first one is all out attack. Second one is divide and conquer, and the third one is eagle eye. So the first strategy, just to do a quick rundown, I'm trying to just abbreviate what I wrote, but if you want more details, go and check that article out. It's for your own use, I guess. So the first strategy is all out attack. Now, someone that wants to use this strategy is definitely going to look at the features ticker like I did here. I actually did my own feature ticker later on. And the plan here is to attack the easy games head on as soon as possible. So now, first of all, we need to know that in match day 8, everybody's playing at the same time. If you look at the schedule here, match 8 is played on 29th of January in the new year, and all the matches we played at the same time. And I'm sure if you check the Champions League website, you will see something like that. All of them we played at the same time. And if you're going to use an all-out attack, basically you are not going to play all your chips as quick as possible like we used to do in the past. You want to save your limitless for match day 8, because in match day 8 everybody's playing at the same time. So we might see rotations from teams like Man City, PSG, Milan, teams who may have qualified in case they want to rotate. Someone like Erling Haaland may or may not play the last game against which team now, for example, Club Brugge. They might want to rotate. Godwan might be preferred or something like that. So you are keeping your limitless chip for this game weeks. Meanwhile, you are targeting maybe match day 3, which have much more games, easy games on paper. They're trying to bring in more players who have easy games in this period. Look at, so for example, you can see Man City is facing Sparta Praha at home. Very easy game for Erling Haaland to score a hat-trick. If there's a triple captain chip, I think this is the time you can even probably use it. So if you don't have Haaland for the first 2 games, you can probably have him then. If you cannot find a way to use 2 transfers to get him in, and so on and so forth. So that's the all-out attack. For the next chip, I called it divide and conquer. So basically, it takes this strategy with the tickers I brought here. So you basically are dividing your games into 2. Like dividing match day 1 to 8 into 2. And looking at the first 4 game weeks, and you're looking for the best teams to target here. And the next 4 games after match day 4, and you are trying to see the best teams to bring in here, and you are trying to see the features to target here. So this is an example of the ticker for match day 1 to 4. Teams with the easiest games that are perceived to have the easiest games. So That's basically the strategy there. And then the last one is eagle eye. Eagle eye is basically you don't use a lot of chips during your league phase. You use probably one chip in match day 8. You try and be patient as possible, working with the fact that we have 2 transfers every week, and from there you know make your decision on what you will do going forward. So before I continue, something I wanted to point out concerning transfers. So a lot of people don't know this, so I would just like to highlight it right now. We have been given I'm trying not to rush this because I want to go somewhere, but I will try and take my time. Breathe. Let's go. So now naturally we have 2 transfers per game week. You can see here we have 2 transfers per game week. We have a limitless transfers before the game week starts, then 2 transfers per game week. So you have 2 transfers match day 1 to 8, and normally you just go to round of 16. But now, because we have the first 8 teams that are qualifying and the number 9 to 24 teams, those teams ranked within 9 to 24, kind of facing each other for a playoff, we have an extra room for transfers for playoffs. That means we have another wild card, sort of wild card or free wild card for us to make changes to fit in teams that are not qualified yet into our fantasy team. Does that make sense? Like, let me take my time. After match day 1 to 8, for example, Man City qualifies and they are in top 8, they will not be in the knockout phases. So team in the knockout phases, maybe let's say Salzburg did not make the top 8, or for example, Inter Milan did not make the top 8. Those are the teams who would have to wildcard in their players, and from there we'll have a second opportunity to use two free transfers to bring in players that you like or don't like for the following week. Then before we now go to the round of 16. So basically we are going to have many games, 8 games. Some people might play 10 games before the round of 16. So it's going to be chaotic because there will definitely be rotations. For example, let me just give a bad example. Let's say Arsenal, for example, doesn't make the top 8, and they know they have to get to the Champions League final, or at least go as far as possible. They will still compete in the knockout stages, right? So we could see players like Bukayo Saka and Odegaard not playing for the knockout round of, if they face like a team like Sparta Praha, for example, because you have 8 games already played in Champions League that crosses to January. Then you still have to play another extra 2 games probably in February, then still play Premier League, then still play FA Cup, then still play Carabao. It doesn't make sense. So there are going to be rotation. So we need to be very keen on information for injury updates and players that will be tipped to start. And I usually do that a lot. I usually gather all this information and post out there. So fingers crossed, I will get more information on that for injury updates and players that will start and not start. For now, as it stands, I don't have a lot of information on that, except I know Jude Bellingham just returned in training but did not feature yesterday at all when he played when Real Madrid plays Real Sociedad. I know Oscar Bob is out. I know Odegaard, for example, might be out. We don't know. He's here to play. Let's see how the North London derby goes out today, and some other players that are injured. So just stay tuned for more on injury updates and so on and so forth. So I don't know, my champion. Okay, I think the website is slow. Maybe it's my network. So basically, Steve strategy, the last one I was talking about was Eagle Eye strategy. So basically, I've looked at the fact that we're going to have massive rotation. So there's no point using my chips as early as match day 2 or match day 3 or match day 4. I can delay till match day 8. Maybe use my limitless there. Target all the teams that have green games, green features. All these teams highlighted there. And just chill to the knockout phases, chill to the quarterfinals most likely, where you won't actually have unlimited transfers anymore, and at that point many other teams could have their players knocked out. You could have like 6 players knocked out, 7 players knocked out, and you probably have only 3-5 transfers that period. So that's the best time to use those chips. So if you want to read more about that, just go to this article here and you see all of that written. So however, I don't have much time here, and I said I would leave here by 8 thereabouts. So let me just quickly wrap this up and mention a few things concerning differentials. I've written many of this year. Jamie has posted it. I've also been posting them on my page as well for you to see, so probably retweet it later for those that are interested in knowing about the differentials. For example, this is the differential thread. For example, this is chip strategy thread, so I'll just retweet them for those that didn't see all these articles. So just get acquainted with those information. However, I'll just mention a few that I probably have promoted for the last few weeks during the international break. So for example, now we have Oscar Gulek or Gulik. I can't pronounce his name very well. Very strong player in the midfield for Salzburg. Very good option. I love him. We have Celtic goalkeeper he got another clean sheet today. 5 clean sheets in 5 games. Celtic won and 2-0 against Hearts. So this is very good differential keeper. Still has less than 5% ownership as of time of speaking. And there's some players I personally love, like Gatti, captain of Juventus, currently has four clean sheets in a row. For Juventus after the draw against Empoli yesterday. So very solid players. There are a lot of differentials I've highlighted. 4.0 picks. We have Kalmi Pajkowski, Polish player who is on form for Salzburg. Salzburg didn't play last weekend. I don't know why. I think that game got suspended. I was checking their league. I was trying to see if it started. But Kalmi Pajkowski is one of those players at 4M that will most likely start on Wednesday next week or so when they face Sparta Praha. And some other beautiful players, like Brest midfielder Roman De Castiello, who is on penalties. I told you he scored a penalty initially. Who's on penalties for for Brest, and he's one of the sort of an underdog though, but looks like a pretty good, decent player at his price. So he was one to watch. And yeah, just read the articles. Honestly, I don't want to spend too much time here like I usually do. So I will be writing another article for Matchday 1. So stay tuned for that. I'll be writing an article for Matchday 1. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, so this is my current team. Just to end this as quick as possible, I'll just do a team review. Nothing is locked as it stands, but I am sort of 90% locked right now because I need updates concerning players like Rico Lewis, who may or may not start on Wednesday. I need to know if he's going to start. Luckily, we have time till Tuesday deadline when maybe Man City will do their pressers on Tuesday before we know who plays on Wednesday. So I need to know if Rico Lewis will start. I need to know if so many players will start here. Like I need to know if Pajkowski, so if he headlines the presser like he did in the playoffs, he will most likely start. So, but players that I'm certain that will start are this front three of Gyökeres, Haaland, and Harry Kane. Naturally, the popular front three will be Mbappe, Haaland, Gyökeres. But I just switched to Harry Kane temporarily because of the games he have. Dinamo Zagreb and Aston Villa away from home. I think that these are lovely games to have Harry Kane for. Even though I would probably have to have an Mbappe going forward, we can freestyle that with 2 transfers. So this is what my team looks like. For those that are not watching on the YouTube channel, this is what my team looks like. I'm not sure why the network is slow, but I'll just read it out quickly. So we have Gyökeres, Haaland, Harry Kane in the front three. Mo Salah, Barcola, who is a player that is very interesting recently. Barcola currently has about 3 goals and 3 assists in the French league for PSG. PSG is kind of the next best option as Mbappe has stepped out. 22-year-old has been on form recently, and yes, he has 4 goals and 4 assists in his last 5 matches or so, and he's priced at 7 million. Currently has about 12% ownership. He's giving, I want to use Gen Z language. He's giving, there's this player that's playing for Leipzig. I can't remember his name now. Xavi Simons, giving Xavi Simons of last season. That's anticipation we had for Xavi Simons' attacking potential. So Barcola is in for now temporarily, at least before they play Arsenal. I can ship him and Hakimi out later. I like the idea of Hakimi, even though Cambiaso is giving a very strong appeal for his attacking options. But last time he was played at the left back position, so I don't know. He's sort of an all-rounder. He can play as a right wing, he can play as a right wing back, he can play as a left wing back. So I don't know how I will fit him in long term, even though we'll get to know if he starts against PSV in Matchday 1, the early feature. We'll get to know whether he starts or not start. But I'll just go with Hakimi then. So these are what my team looks like basically. So I'll just say it in complete, just fully one more time. So we have Gyökeres, Haaland, Kane, Salah, Barcola, Trincao. I've been promoting Trincao recently. His recent game matchup against what team was that? This recent game against against Aroka, where they won 3-0. He had 4 shots, 3 chances created, 1 goal, 1 assist, 11 duels won, and amassed an expected goal involvement of 0.97 and displaying Lille at home. Lille just lost to Saint Etienne, putting the match together. Sporting have a strong chance of getting that home win in the Champions League, so probably just double up on him and Goicores. So that is the idea. So far so good. He's kind of the exact reason I took Oscar Gulak out, even though I prefer him. But I don't know, we might swap them in the future going forward. So in defense I have Gatti, because Gatti is basically the best centre back to have in this game right now. I mean, besides the Bayern Munich defenders, even though Bayern has not kept a clean sheet so far, Gatti is kind of the best defender so far based on league form, based on security of minutes. Gatti, Rico Lee is sort of a placeholder. He played 45 minutes in the last game as a left back, so I don't know if he's going to start, but I hope he does. He has been starting recently for Man City, so at 4.5 it can't hurt to start Rico Lee, right? So I'll just leave him there for now. If not, I might swap for Celtic defender. Celtic has from good run of games. That makes me also have Kasper Schmeichel in goal. So I might, but for now it's for Rico Lewis. Ashraf Hakimi, Paitkowski, who is one of the best 4M option. Another 4M option that I saw in the game was Joachim Sess, who's also started recently in the weekend against for the win for Club Brugge 3-0, but was taken off about 70 minutes thereabout. So for some reason I can't see him on the game anymore. They have taken his name off, so I'm not sure why. So that's my defense of Gatti, Lewis, Hakimi, and Paitkowski. Then we have Courtois and goal, just as a cover for Real Madrid players. Since I have very little Real Madrid players here, it's very hard to fit in Mbappe and Vinicius right now. When Harry Kane is playing the Norwich Zagreb, when Haaland is on 10 goals in 4 games, when Goicores is on 9 goals in all competitions. So I prefer this front three just for now, instead of the penalties Real Madrid are relying on. Talking about penalties, Roman de Castiello has walked into my team. Initially, I had Onana in his place, but Onana was taken off early due to some errors he made in the game against Everton, and I think he was injured in quotes. So more on that update. So Delcas comes in. Lamine Yamal is very, very popular. Just because of that popularity, I'm just going to have him in my team. We know what he can do. We have seen him play in the Euros. We have seen his monstrosity. We know he's going to start on the right wing. But even though a lot of people prefer Rafinha, player of the month, scored money goals and did well for Barcelona recently, I just want Yamal because of that ownership and that unpredictability he brings to the Barcelona team. I'm just happy he's priced as a midfielder this year instead of a forward, and that is very good for us. Then Grimaldo completes that 15. So in case you are not seeing this right now, I'll probably post it about 15 minutes to deadline, thereabouts, tomorrow. So as if I don't make any changes, I might make a change if, for example, Rico Lewis gets injured or any injury or rotation news comes around any of these picks. So this is what my team looks like. And I have promised to leave you guys quickly, and I still spent more than 10 minutes. So I'm just going to end this right now and say thank you for staying tuned. Thank you for all those who have engaged with on my page for the last few weeks. I've gotten a huge amount of followings recently. I've gotten a huge amount of interactions, and I really appreciate you guys for every tweet, every engagement, even listening to this podcast. I really appreciate you guys, and I love you guys. Have a beautiful Matchday 1 ahead. This is what my team looks like for now. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I'll be able to answer them. Stay tuned for an article for Matchday 1 preview, and stay tuned for injury updates. That will be the final information I will give concerning my team or concerning Matchday 1 till further notice. Have a beautiful Matchday 1 ahead, and may your arrows be green. This is the FPL Manor speaking. Bye for now.